Hello, friends. This is Sundareshan, your compliance guru. Liability of a director. Are directors liable? When will the directors be liable? For what will the directors be liable? Why should the directors be liable? Why should the senior management not be liable? Why should the officer of a company not be liable? The question can go on and on and on. But let us examine who an officer is. Very simple. Officer includes a director, manager, key managerial person, or any person in accordance with whose direction or instruction the board or any one of the directors is accustomed to act. So, look at the gambit. They have brought in almost everybody into this small little definition of officer. Clear? So, officer would include most of the people who are actually doing work in the company on a day-to-day basis. Now let us look at who officer in default is. This is very interesting. Now, officer in default, there is a list of persons. Who are they? The first is the whole-time director. We have seen in a separate video who a whole-time director is. Who a director who is in the whole-time employment of the company. Simple. Next, key managerial personnel. Now, who are these key managerial personnel? Very interesting, right? So, the law very clearly brings out the fact who a key managerial person is. And it says it includes company secretary, chief financial officer, whole-time director, chief executive officer, and such other person. So there are 5 persons who are referred to as key managerial personnel, which is very important term under the law. The first one is the company secretary, the CFO, the whole-time director, managing director, or the CEO, and such other person. So let's come back to this officer in default. So officer in default, the first person was whole-time director. The second is key managerial person, which means this concept of whole-time director is repeated in the key managerial personnel. And then where in a company where there is no key managerial personnel, then the board of directors, if they have identified a person, please understand, the board of directors, if they have identified a person to be the KMP, that person shall be officer in default. The fourth point in the officer in default is a very interesting term, which is any person who under the immediate authority of the board. So who are they? They are the senior management. Clear? Then you have the next category, which says any person in accordance with whose advice, direction, or instruction the board of directors is accustomed to act. So, if you are in the senior management or if you have advised the company on a particular transaction, then such person is also included. And other one, which is every director in respect of contraventions which has occurred. Now, please understand, this is very, very important. All the directors, the transaction that has occurred where there is no one who is in the company who is liable, which means there is no KMP, there is no, say, the CS, the CFO, the designated person, then the entire board will be responsible. So, when I say entire board, do you mean to say it includes the independent director and whole time director? Because the language used is very simple. Every director is the language that is used who was aware. Who was aware. So please understand awareness and all directors. And this has been beautifully brought out in the section 149 subsection 12, which says this awareness should be, or knowledge, I would put it as knowledge of that contravention if it was on account of a board process, on account of the consent that the director has given, or has connived, or did not act diligently. These are the factors which actually determines how a director will be liable. So friends, we saw officer, officer in default, and key managerial person. Now, we will move on to analyzing what this liability is and how an independent director or a non-executive director will be outside the purview of whatever we discussed in this particular module. So, if you are a director who is in the whole-time employment, there is no escape from the term liability. You will be ultimately responsible, even though there are employees who will be named. Take care, stay compliant, stay safe. See you soon.